Terry's three. Johnny Walker matching up against control. His shot. Bruce score. They score. They tie the game up 2-2. Some drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. This is Taya Hansen for three. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse. Wow. 5 seconds to go. By Hawk. Hawk spins. It rolls off. And Arizona State wins it. Edward pulls off. And buries the puck. Takes the shot for
Welcome into Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caracino at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter. And you can find the show there on my IG Live, michael.caracino.5, plus the YouTube Pitchfork Lunchers. You know it. Yes, go to my YouTube channel, M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 on YouTube. And subscribe because of the wonderful things he does. Yes, I know, a Wizard of Oz reference. Nonetheless, though, subscribe, and all the shows you've missed, all the interviews you've missed, which there's been quite a few. Let's be honest, quite a few, are all there on the YouTube page. So if you subscribe, guess what? You can binge watch. You can catch up on a lot of great interviews, news, notes going around, all that good stuff. So check it out. Yes, check it out. Again, on YouTube at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 at MVC005. And subscribe. Yes, happy January 3rd, 2024. It's Wednesday. As the new year, gets the train starts kind of, a little leaving the station, getting going early on. But yes, we are diving into conference play. Yes, as we dive into into conference play in hoops, and it's well, the again, the women, and it's all home this weekend. Don't forget that, Pitchfork Lunchers. Again, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and so yeah, tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday. That's crazy. But tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So tomorrow, we have the men taking on Utah at 9 p.m. Friday, we have the women taking on Utah. Saturday, we have the men taking on Colorado, and then Sunday, the women take on Colorado. Um, so that in and of itself, I mean, again, you get a great full weekend there of hoops at Desert Financial Arena, which again wouldn't be a bad thing now, would it? Um, and then hockey's also home Friday and Saturday as they get set for yeah, as they get set for the Desert Hockey Classic. Sorry, I was going to say Cornell, but that's next week. Desert Hockey Classic, which again features our beloved Sun Devils, UMass Lowell, Omaha, and Harvard are going to be in the building. So Friday at 7 is their first game, and then Saturday at I want to say the same time, Saturday at 7 as well. So Friday at 7, they play Harvard, and then depending on if they win or lose, they'll either play UMass Lowell or Omaha on Saturday. So a great chance again right after the new year to get out and see Coach Powers' team, which is like I said, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure to watch. It's exciting to watch in and of itself. Um, how they've been playing, and again, being able to score, being able to win, if it is higher scoring games, being able to win those, and also though lower scoring games. So look, the hockey team has been awesome. Again, you can get out to Mullet Arena. We'll dive into that a little more, but you can get out to Mullet Arena for that. Also, hoops wise, I know I mentioned it on the men's side basketball, but just in case you missed it, yes, each team has only played two conference games to this point, but um, Colorado on the men's side in hoops is 2-0. They're 11-2 overall. Utah is 2-0 and 11-2 as well. Oregon, the Ducks, 2-0 in conference play, 10-3 overall. And then Arizona State, look at that, 2-0 overall, 8-5 in 2-0 in conference play, pardon me, 8-5 overall. And again, they're taking on Utah and Colorado, both teams that are also 2-0 and both with 11 wins, the Mountain Schools. So they have their work cut out for them. It's good that they're playing them at home because this team, as we've seen, by the way, as we know, is undefeated at home on the men's side. So that's that. And then we have the Pac-12 has Arizona, who's number 10 in the country, at 1-1 overall. They did beat Cal, but lost to Stanford when the Arizona schools were on the Bay Area leg of their matchups to kick off conference play. But yeah, Arizona 1-1, 10-3 overall. Oregon State 1-1, 9-4 overall. Stanford 1-1 as well. They're at 500 at 6-6. UCLA at 1-1. They're at 6-7. Washington State is 0-2 in conference play and at 9-4 overall, as is Washington 0-2 and 8-5. USC 0-2 in conference play, 6-7, and Cal 0-2 and 4-9 overall. So again, as you start to separate, you see, ASU beating Cal. Well, that's something as we fast forward to the and not obviously a lot of hoops to be played, a lot of minutes. But as you go towards the tournament and the second half of the season, I mean, beating a team like Cal matters just as much as, getting a victory, over obviously your rival in that team down south. Or, right now you see like, you know, Oregon, Utah, Colorado, even Oregon State, like getting wins over them, and like I said, they're 2-0 now. So it's going to be a matchup of 2-0s all weekend. Well, not all weekend. The weekend will start like that, and we'll see where it goes. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's the team. Like I said, they got a wake up call at the end of conference play. Just the way those last two games, especially TCU and Northwestern, the the whole game, both of those games went. It was a punch to the gut. Think about it. We've talked about it. It was definitely a punch to the gut for the men being up on TCU and then just getting smacked in the second half and losing by 20, and then only scoring 13 points against Northwestern in the first half. And like I always say, you hear me, Pitchfork Lunchers, like I always say, it's one of those things where the other team, there's another team there trying to make it happen, but I mean, missing, wide open shots, lapsing on defense multiple times, giving, somebody a layup literally right underneath the bucket. Like against Northwestern, some of that happened, and that's the frustrating part. Um, but and you can even say the USD game, you say the last three games, because I mean USD, they were up, I think, by 12 points in the second half, and USD just came back and put up 61, like I said, in the second half. And a Bobby Hurley team defensively, you can go back. I mean, this is ninth season now, but you can go back. They're not giving up, even in those, even in the first few early seasons when Guard U came about, and they may have not he may have not had the depth he was looking for and building at the time, but 61 points and a half, and they still only lost by 5. But still, I mean, the way like the second half of that went into TCU, like I said, and then into Northwestern at the Jerry Colangelo Hall of Fame series, that's tough when you look at it. So, like, it's one of those things where conference play, again, when you get punched in the gut like that, how do you respond when everybody says you got to look in the mirror? And Frankie Collins, I mean, he challenged himself, but the rest of his team, saying mentally, we're not. I don't know what it is, but we're not. He said after that Northwestern game, we're just not tough when we get punched in the mouth. We're not responding well. And then he goes, I just, it's an old adage. If you could put your finger on it, you knew why, it would be solved, right? Well, he challenged the team, and so far, I mean, look, they were down. They were going back and forth with Stanford. Talked about it yesterday. They're going, Cal got up by 16, and they overcame that deficit. So you're not purposely trying to get down to see how you can respond, especially by 16 at any point. But nonetheless, Frankie Collins, challenges team. Coach really challenged himself, and in doing that, also challenges the team. And it went from there. So I mean, it's a great start. It's 2-0, but you definitely got to build on it, and you got to defend your home court. So Utah will be up first tomorrow night at 9, and then Colorado on Saturday. I want to say that game's at 6. On the women's side in hoops, real quick. Well, half the conference is 1-0. So in conference play, so Oregon State is 1-0. Number 2, so is well, first of all, let's do this. They have UCLA is ranked number 2 in the country. Stanford's ranked number 8. Colorado is number 5. Or no, So UCLA's 2, Stanford's 5. No, let's start. So women's hoops. Look at this. We're going to women's hoops. The rankings. UCLA is a number 2 team in the country. Colorado is a number 5 team in the country. Stanford is a number 8 team in the country. USC is a number 9 team in the country, and Utah is the number 15 team in the country. So 5 teams in this conference ranked, just about half. And I want to say Oregon State might be knocking on the door next if they can get a win. Let's see. Oh, they got the LA schools this week, so they'll have a shot. They got USC and UCLA. So you split with one of those two on the road, and both are somewhat close. I mean, like they got a chance right there. But again, those are tough matchups. Again, you're taking on number 2 and number 9. But yes, conference play. So Oregon State, UCLA, Stanford, Colorado, Washington, and Arizona are all 1-0. And then USC, Washington State, Cal, Utah, Oregon, and ASU are all 0-1. And so you look at Oregon lost, the first rivalry matchup to Oregon State. Arizona State lost the first rivalry matchup to Arizona. Utah lost their mountain school rivalry to Colorado. And then Cal lost to Stanford. And then Washington had already beat Washington State. We talked about that. They played the same weekend that Arizona and Arizona State played in Tempe. So there's that. And then UCLA did beat USC 71-64, the Battle of LA. The first one happened. So again, each team, teams that have started out 1-0 have all beat their rival. So that second time around, the revenge match is going to be awfully nice. But yeah, for ASU, for Natasha Adair, I mean, look, you're 8-5. Yes, you did have the bummer loss to Santa Clara after coming off the nice win in the Hall of Fame series against Fresno State. And you got a little bit of work to do. But I mean, everybody in this conference well over, 500, and ASU being 8-5. I mean, so yeah, I mean, Oregon State and UCLA both 12-0. Stanford's 12-1. Colorado and Washington are 11-1. Arizona is 9-4. USC is 10-1. Washington State's 11-3. Both Cal and Utah are 10-3, and then you have Oregon at 9-5, ASU at 8-5. So, I mean, coaches talked about it. Adia Barnes, listen to her post game, Arizona, like there's going to be no off nights in this conference, and the more the challenging you can make, the more challenging your non-conference is, and you have success. Well, guess what? it might balance. You might balance back out and come down to earth. I mean, like she said, it's and it's not even. People say, "Oh, coaches always have angles. They're trying to sell their teams." Just look at the conference. Look at the teams. Like getting to 500 is going to be huge. Whoever wins this conference on the women's side in the regular season, yes, they will be over 500. But how far, and these matchups are just going to be absolutely epic. I mean, nine teams have double-digit wins already, so it's yeah, it's shaping up to be absolutely insane. This could be the year, of course, the last year of the Pac-12, but this could be the year that maybe. And again, it's early, but ASU could be one of the seven teams that go to the tournament. I mean, it's and then you could also, have around 500, a little bit under 500 record in conference play, right? And be left out of the tournament. Like that it's exciting, and I'm not trying to fast forward. I want to relish all of it, like on both sides, on the men's and women's side. But the women's, like I say, you have 5 teams in the top 25, five in the top 25, and Natasha Adair and her team definitely have a little bit of a hill. It's not a mountain yet, but a little bit of a hill to start climbing, and it starts this week, obviously, with Utah and Colorado as well. So, um, but I'm excited for it. I mean, how could you not be excited for it? It's, again, the competition of it, and yes, we'll see what other how the ACC looks, how other conferences look. Um, But yeah, and Jaden Simmons, by the way, don't forget she's in the 1,000 point club. She scored over 1,000 points at ASU now, and she's going to keep climbing up the leaderboard. So that is awesome to see. But just again, this team coming together, working on the rebounds, putting the work in, like Coach talks about, and man, they are again, it's you can see the consistency getting there, and that's what's awesome. Also, don't forget, like I said, hockey, who is now 13 or no, 15, 14, sorry. between 13 and 15, right? They're 14, 3-5 overall. And they are 10-2-2 at home. I mention this all the time. 3-1-2 away, 1-0-1 on a neutral site. So obviously you get to that many wins with not having a losing record anywhere. Um, but yeah, I mean it is exciting. And I mean they're like look, Merrimack is, number 15 now, and they swept them early in the season. And then they had Denver, who's now still who they took them on. They were number 2. They split with them at home in Mullet, but still, I mean, an overtime win and then a regulation 8-4 loss. Providence, a 4-3 overtime win against Providence, and but they split with them and they lost 2-1 uh, on the series in the second game here. So it's and you go somewhere like and then you get a shootout win, although it's just it goes down as a tie. Um, but they got a shootout win against Colorado College and then beat them 2-0 the next night. Dartmouth, they tied 4-4, and then got a shootout win, and then they got 2 shootout wins against Dartmouth, but they tied them both times 4-4 and 1-1. I want to say it was the first time Dartmouth came here too. And then they went to back east to play Robert Morris. They beat him 4-1 and 8-3 in Pittsburgh, and then the Adirondack Winter Invitational, like we talked about yesterday, 5-2 over Clarkson, and then 2-2. They tied 2-2, so that'll go down on the record, but they won in the shootout, so they win the Adirondack Winter Invitational. Hello. And now you get to, like I said, now you get to host your the Desert Hockey Classic. So for Coach Powers and what they're doing, yeah, big fan. Big fan of. And it's one of those things where, they talk about be the tradition, and they're, it's taken a minute. The excitement, of course, is still there. The first season, when you looked at the first few seasons, and then obviously playing at Oceanside, which again, it was very cozy in there, to say the least. But now, I mean, they have the arena right there on campus. Look, if I sound like a commercial, fine, but it's college hockey. Well, hockey in general is awesome, but college hockey, like, it's a great atmosphere. It's a fun atmosphere, to get out to. Take the kids to, man. It's a great time. So, but yeah, the Desert Classic, Desert Hockey Classic, pardon me. I almost called it Desert Classic Invitational, which they wouldn't do that because that's almost like, a a double negative, or I guess you could say a double positive there, almost a double positive there. But anyway, Desert Hockey Classic, and I know you hear desert and hockey, and people say, "Oh, it doesn't work in the day. Oh, is it going to work this time?" Well, all I know, a few short years ago, there's a young man named Austin Matthews that's from here that was the number one pick in the NHL draft. So, and he's had a pretty damn good career, and like I said, he brings a cup to he contributes to bringing a cup to Toronto, as you hockey fans know. That might be a bucket list thing to go to, is the celebration in Toronto when and if they win their next Stanley Cup. So that's one way to look at it. But yeah, we'll dive more into that. There's news and notes too from around Sun Devil country, so we shall dive into that as well. And like I said yesterday, even though yes, ASU's not there, but still, can't ignore the elephant in the room, as they say, because the college football playoff, the championship game is set. Texas and Washington, Texas. Absolutely a huge fan of that matchup and game, and yeah, I still think Oregon should have been in over Alabama if you weren't going to take Florida State, because if you take Florida State, I mean, they and everybody. Okay, I do have to touch on this real quick before we go to break, because the whole 63-3 game, Georgia beat Florida State in a game where Florida State had 24 opt-outs. Guys already hit the transfer portal. That yes, were contributing, and other guys opted out because they go 13-0 and they get left out just because Alabama beats Georgia. But when you put Texas in, you can put Alabama in, because you connect the simple, easy, low-hanging fruit dots for this, supposed to be committee. Well, if you're going to look at it, yes, Oregon was a 2-loss team. Alabama was a 1-loss team. Oregon's only 2 losses are to Washington in the regular season and then in the Pac-12 championship game. And Michael Penix Jr., again, what he and that offense can do, the weapons they have, is huge. But if you were going to leave Florida State out, and people say, "Oh, you make a case for this 1-loss team," no, Oregon is a 2-loss team. And yes, people say, "Oh, well, what you're saying just because they scored 45 on Liberty?" No, I saw Oregon in person this year. I saw Oregon on TV a ton this year. I watched both Washington games. The Ducks take on the Huskies both times, and to see what happened. And yeah, Dan Lanning went for a lot of 4th downs, didn't get it, but Washington made those plays. They still made plays, and in the end, Washington held on to win the game, and it was a close one. And then after that, Oregon goes on the win streak. Everybody's like, "Well, look at these tight games that Washington's in, and this and that." They're still winning, and of course, it was louder people from somebody like in Ohio, like Ohio State fans saying, "Well, we only lost to Michigan and still couldn't win our conference championship, but we deserve to be there." No, a 2-loss Oregon team. If you were gonna, like I said, if you were going to ignore, and Pac-12 homer or not. And not because last year, if you were going to ignore Florida State being 13-0 and saying because of the injury, blah, 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 you go Michigan, Washington, Texas, and Oregon. And you have Michigan and Oregon in the Rose Bowl. And then you have, obviously, Washington, Texas, where they were in the Super Bowl, because Michigan would have still had the first pick. And I think that or I don't know, maybe Michigan would have taken the Sugar Bowl, making Oregon fans travel further instead of just down the coast to the Rose Bowl, though Jim Harbaugh loves the Rose Bowl. So, but either way, neither here nor there. I'm just saying 4 best teams, and they always say that. And Michigan, okay, that's fine. Texas, they, won the Big 12. They only had the 1 loss. They did win in Tuscaloosa. But, yeah, Alabama goes and meets Georgia. And, again, their schedules all year. And that to me would have been your ultimate 4. But nonetheless, and it could have been huge chance that it would have been an all Pac-12 championship if Oregon and Washington were both there. Um, and it would have been very interesting to see who the committee, of course, would have left out because Pac-12 would have got screwed because of Alabama. But if Oregon had won the second time and Washington won the first, to me, then you definitely go Michigan, Oregon, or Michigan, Washington, Michigan, Washington, Texas, and then Oregon. But it didn't happen. But nonetheless, the Huskies are there, and it is, at least we don't have to wait 3 weeks, for the semifinal. It's 1 week to the championship. Well, less than a week now on Monday. So what, 5 days away. But yeah, I'll get into that a little more as the week goes on. I'm going to reach out to some people I know cover Oregon and have my guy who's having a hell of a year. Obviously, we're not going to talk about our Lions and Cowboys, but Ray Lynn, sports reporter without pay, we're going to talk about the Wolverines and what they've done in this matchup. So aiming to get him on too as well. But yeah, so I'm going to step aside. Just wanted to get that out there, though. Can't wait for this matchup. But yeah, we'll take a break. And then on the other side, a little bit of news and notes. And then we'll jump into what to look out for men's hoops wise early with the matchup against Utah. So more coming up here on Pitchfork Lunch. Don't go far. Welcome back to Pitchfork Lunch. I am Michael Caracino at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as Twitter, where you can check out the show on the IG, michael.caracino.5. And also, it on the YouTube. You know what you've missed. There's a ton of shows, obviously, ton of interviews, great interviews, coaches getting to know programs, players, all that good stuff. The voice of the Sun Devils, insiders. Man, you got it all, man. Friends of the program, got it all. Go check it out on YouTube. Emmons and Michael Views and Victory Season Cat 005 at MVC005 on YouTube. Subscribe. So getting into news and notes real quick. I know I mentioned yesterday that volleyball, Coach Van Neal again, it's, the off season, but with the spring semester obviously upon us here soon, Coach Van Neal, though, added two players, Argentina Ung, who's a setter, which again, losing Shannon Shields is tough, but from Washington State. So she's coming down the coast a little bit more, and then obviously inland a little bit more. But nonetheless, Argentina Ung, and again, she um, for Washington State, and junior outside hitter Bailey Miller um, are joining the team. So that is yeah, she played at West Virginia, by the way. I should have mentioned that. Bailey Miller. She's a 6'3" junior outside hitter. Um, I mean, she was second on her team in kills at West Virginia this last season with 339. In her freshman season, she started every match and led the team in kills with 293. She had 31 matches with double-digit kills in her career, including 2 with 20 or more. Her career high is 28, which was this past season. Also, look at that, a hitter that can play a little defense, get the ball up to the net. Um, she had over 200 digs for in both seasons at West Virginia. She tallied 16 double doubles over the last 2 years. Um, so she made 2 non-conference tournament teams and was the Mountaineer Invitational MVP. Um, She is from Quinlan, Texas, by the way. So again, ASU going back to the Big 12. Yes, West Virginia's in the Big 12, as we know, but um, yeah, West Virginia's in the Big 12, but it's one of those things where um, at ASU again, maybe obviously a little bit closer, so family might be able to come out see some home matches, and depending on, and I'm guessing this season now that coach has time, there'll be at least one one non-conference weekend here in Tempe. So, and again, we talked to him about that. That was crazy. But yeah, so yeah, she played at Bowles High School um, in Texas, and I mean, a very obviously decorated high school career as well. She was a 2A All-State Team N District 18 MVP in 2021 and was 2020 2A District 18 Offensive MVP, four-time academic All-District, uh, ran track in high school. Um, coach was quoted saying that she provides heightened power on the pin. She was a fundamental piece for her team at West Virginia, and as we head to the Big 12 next season, it will be awesome having someone with experience. Like I said, obviously going to the Big 12, playing in that conference. Her ability to connect with others and her eagerness to get better in the gym will translate well into our current team's atmosphere, which again, coach created very quickly. Um, so yeah, like I said, playing in the Big 12, and that's going to help. I mean, Argentina Ung, obviously, with the unfortunate uncertainty of Washington um, State, that is a bummer. But um, um, but it benefits Coach Fan Neal because obviously seeing her play up close this year once, but just being in the conference and studying, seeing what they do. And she played the last 4 seasons, like I said, at Washington State, running a 5-1, their offense as a starter the last 2 seasons. An ABCA All American honorable mention this past season. She was also All Region honorable mention and Pac 12 honorable mention in 2023. So, yeah, again, people say, "Oh, well, honorable mention." Well, like I said, look at the competition that's in this conference. Look how phenomenal it was, and yeah, it's not. It's still one hell of an honor and a good talent for ASU to get. Washington State also went to the Sweet 16, which they fell to Pitt in the Sweet 16 as ASU fell to Stanford, but both teams went to the Sweet 16. Um, and they finished ranked number 11 in the AVCA coaches poll. She led the team to a third straight 20-win season and eighth straight NCAA tournament appearance for the Cougars. So very strong on defense. She had 19 double doubles in her career. Her personal best being 17 digs. 17 digs at the net. She has been a strong blocker, notching 100 blocks this past season. Her career high on blocks is 8 in a match, which for a setter, again, very good. Um, Although in her freshman and sophomore seasons at Washington State, she was a setter, but she saw time as an outside hitter, earning double-digit kills in 4 matches. Her career high is 15, which she earned at Stanford in 2021. Um, she is from Sonora, Mexico, by the way, but she competes for. It says her experience competing for the Mexican national team. She has experience doing that. She was part of the U18, U20, and U23 programs, and currently plays for the senior national team. In the summer of 2022, she was the MVP and best setter for the Norcera Final Four. In the summer of 23, she helped the U23 squad win the silver in the Pan American Cup. Attended the Instituto Anglo Mexicano for high school while competing in both indoor and beach volleyball. And then her sister, Gracia Ung Enriquez, just wrapped up her junior year at Park University in Missouri as an outside hitter. So, a very talented volleyball family. Coach said about Argentina that Argentina was an excellent setter for Washington State, who has experience playing at the highest level in the Mexican national team gym. She is equally confident and she is talented and was a fun must-watch setter from our conference this past year. She helped Washington State make a deep tournament run, and I expect she will come in and compete to do the same for us. So, yeah, 2 great hits there. But, again, transfer portal and volleyball, different than obviously football where you have way less players. So, you have recruits coming in, but with players that have graduated and you see who's going to enter the portal and if anybody from your squad is what you need to fill. But 2 awesome gets for Coach Van Neal. So again, as spring rolls on, and yeah, we're going to be talking beach volleyball as well because beach volleyball is going on. Then yeah, we're going to talk that, and we'll see how the beach season goes. Which again, if you can get out there, it's just behind the softball fields and just a little bit north of the soccer field is where the beach volleyball takes place. So we'll get into that. But for Coach Van Neal and the indoor team, huge gets. And yes, they will, they'll have a practice time in the spring. And for the transfers, again, they'll be on campus in January. So hopefully we get to meet and greet and have them on the show. I will work towards that. But yeah, that's um and wrestling, by the way, um the Midlands Championships, which were in Evanston, Illinois, where Northwestern is located. It was the 59th annual Ken Craft Midlands Championships, where the country's top programs and wrestlers compete in a 2-day tournament. Shakori Teamer of ASU could hardly be contained, one of 15 Sun Devils competing for number 10 ASU, by the way. The top seeded team here, on his way to a title, and he's in the 157 pound class, and he's going a perfect 6-0. At the Now Arena. This past last Saturday, he um or that was actually, yeah, December 30th. He toppled Trevor Chumley of Northwestern, who was number 3, 11-6 decision in the championship round. Earlier in the day, he beat number 12 Colin uh, Wasilewski from Ryder in a 17-13 decision. Teamers Championship title is the Sun Devils' first since 2018. Didn't compete in it from 2019 to 2021. So a Sun Devil has won at this tournament in 4 of their past 5 times at the Midlands. Um, yeah. Um, yeah. So it's very, very awesome. I mean, even Coach Zeke Jones back in 1989, the 118-pound weight class, Coach Jones is a champion in 89. Um, and now Ja'Cory Teamer in 2023. Again, look forward to getting Coach Jones on, talking to him. And again, it's going to be a fun spring. Going to try and, obviously take the mind off the last season in the Pac 12. But yeah, congratulations to Ja'Cory Teamer, again, in the 157-pound weight class, and he is a 2023 champion. Zahid Valencia, Devils, you remember Zahid Valencia, him and both Tanner Hall won in 2018. Valencia at the 174-pound class, and then Tanner Hall at heavyweight. Tanner Hall also did it in 2016, as did Zahid Valencia. So Zahid Valencia did it in 2016, 17, and 18. He was a 3-time champion at the Midlands Championship. So 3 years in a row for Valencia, 16, 17, and 18. And then Tanner Hall did it in 16 and 18 as well. So, yeah, Zeke Jones, again, getting this wrestling program back on the map. It was on the map for a very long time. I remember, again, cool stories from, back, in the day of the dust. Now, just kidding, not the dust. But, yeah, I mean, ASU wrestling, when it became, in the 80s, the late 80s, just remembering, man, like going out to ASU wrestling matches and watching, and it's just like, oh, I mean, they had, again, I don't think I had definitely the competitiveness for wrestling, but skill wise, and you have to learn it. But I just, yeah, uh, you gotta, again, be competitive. You can't get frustrated too quick, or your opponent will see that, and obviously, pun intended, pounce on you. And yeah, you feel that frustration sink in. But you look at, I mean, championships in general. I mean, 87, Dan St. John did it, and then 88, Ortiz, and then 88, St. John did it again. 89, Zeke Jones, like I said, did it. And then his teammate, Andrew McNaughton, in 89. Also, Thomas Ortiz did it again in 89, as did Ray Miller, and Dan St. John did it again in 89. And then they went in a little bit in 95, Marcus Malika, the 167-pound class, as did Casey Strand in 96. And then Aaron Simpson, people, yeah, you know the name Aaron Simpson. He did the 177-pound weight class in 96. And then it was a few more years in 2001. Eric Larkin did it at the 141-pound weight class. And like I said, Zahid Valencia and Tanner Hall in 2016 and 2017. Valencia did it again. 2018, Valencia and Hall did it. And now in 2023, Ja'Cory Teamer adds his name to that very distinguished list. So congratulations, Ja'Cory. Again, it was over New Year's this past weekend. So yeah, I can't wait to get out to wrestling, and wrestling, swimming, beach volleyball, obviously basketball as well. So again, it is a loaded spring here on Pitchfork Lunch. So please, again, stick with me. You got any thoughts? Again, you can hit me up at Diablo00. You're watching the show, drop in a few comments. Let me know what you think about wrestling. Again, if you've never, and again, not even just ASU, if you've never been to college wrestling, I mean, the meets, again, absolutely awesome. You go to some places with atmosphere. Yes, I mentioned Iowa. Yes, I've had friends from Nebraska that talked about even, Nebraska, but Oklahoma as well. But yeah, ASU, I mean, it's just the wrestling has been one of those sports. When it went away, it was not for a while. It was not it was a pretty, yeah, there's a lot of unhappy people. And, you had to get you want to get it back because it's not like it was a program that was not having success, as I just read to you there, but just overall, ASU wrestling again throughout the years and what Coach Jones done. I can't wait again to get him on the show. I will efforting that, and hopefully he can do it very, very soon. I will look at their schedule, but yeah, I mean, it's just Ja'Cory Teamer was a top seed and he rolled all the way to a title. So we'll see if uh, um, going forward. Again, we'll keep up with obviously Ja'Cory and but yeah, I mean, like I said, I'll say it for Coach because there's a lot of questions I have for him. But just like another alum coach coaching a you know coaching obviously the program, the sport he played, but the program being back at ASU, and when you hear him talk about it, the passion is just there and it's genuine, and I love it. So I can't wait to get out to more wrestling. Obviously, golf too this spring. Swim and dive. By the way, yes, they that is going on as and this Saturday at 11 a.m. Number wow, this is number 1/19 swim and dive. That's a huge discrepancy. Um, well, it's Grand Canyon this Saturday at 11 a.m. at the Aquatic Center. Again, they are 6-0 so far, by the way, 2-0 in conference, 5-0 at home, 1-0 away, but they have wins against Georgia, which was back in September, and then September 22nd and 23rd wins over Georgia, and then October 6th a win over UNLV at the Mona Plummer Aquatic Center. Pardon me, I said Aquatic Center. The Mona Plummer Aquatic Center, right there off of College, off of University and College there. So, but yeah, they beat UNLV handily, 229 to 71. Yeah. Then they took on number 4 North Carolina State at home again, and they won on October 20th. And then they took on number 4 USC November 4th, and they whooped them at 208 to 92. Well, there was the NC State Invitational, which don't show results from that, but there was an NC State Invitational, so I'll have to do a little more digging on that. That being said, yeah, I'll dive more into that as we get into swimming. But yeah, they competed in that, and then November 20th, Utah. They took them on in Salt Lake City, and they won 232 to 66. And now their first match after that in the new year is like I said, Saturday at 11 a.m. Grand Canyon will be at the Mona Plummer Aquatic Center. Oh, wow. You got to be kidding me. That's their last. Holy wow. Okay. So that's their last home match. Because they take on Stanford and Cal January 19th and 20th in Northern California. And then they have the NAU Invite diving in Flagstaff February 2nd through 4th. And they're at Arizona on February 10th. So let's go down to Tucson and watch that beatdown. And then after that, you have the Pac 12 Men's Diving Championships February 28th in Federal Way, Washington. And then you have the men's, so UW's hosting the men's swimming championships March 6th through 9th in Federal Way. And then the NCAA Diving Zone Championships are in Flagstaff this year, March 11th through 13th. And then the NCAA Dive Championships are March 20th through 23rd in Athens, Georgia. And then the NCAA Men's Swimming Championship is in Indianapolis, March 27th through 30th. Yeah, so if you want to get out to see them, yes, they will be down in Tucson to take on that team down south on February 10th. But then before that, they are up in Flagstaff. But yeah, I mean, it's, it's Grand Canyon this Saturday at 11 a.m. And then it's the senior meet. So yeah, that's interesting schedule list. But nonetheless, they are charging towards second half season. Like I said, a team that's 6-0, 2-0 in conference. They won 6. Yeah, so 5 of those been at home, 1 away. Haven't been neutral site yet, but nonetheless, get on out there. Get to the Mona Palmer Aquatic Center Saturday at 11 a.m. and you can check it out. Look forward to results from that. You can see it on the ASU live stream too, by the way. So that's where we are with that. Women's hoops, like I said, they will be taking on Utah and Colorado as well, Friday and Sunday. Friday is at, I want to say 6, but I will confirm, because you know me. If I tell you the wrong time, I know I'll hear about it, which I should hear about it because, well, I'm the fool that told you the wrong time. And again, people are like, well, they could have looked it up, this and that. Yeah, but I can still tell the right time. So Utah is at 7 p.m., not 6. See, well, I would have told you 6. You would have been there way early, so that would be good. But yeah, this Friday at 7 p.m., Utah is going to be in the in Desert Financial. It's on Pac-12 Arizona, KDUSA AM 1060 as well. So that's Utah on Friday. Sunday is at noon. It's a noon matchup against the Buffaloes. So yeah, 2 ranked teams coming into Tempe. Get out there, get loud, support this team. Again, they've showed they can go toe to toe and with teams, and we don't want to see another any other team come in here and shoot 65% from behind the arc like that team from down south did. So, and again, hockey, like I said, they are Friday at and again, I'll mention it again, but again, just get it on your calendars. The champs of the Adirondack Invitational in Lake Placid, so gotta love that. But yes, this 14-3-5 team, which is number 13 on Friday night, they will take on Harvard, part of the Desert Hockey Classic. And that's at 7. The first game, if you want to get out there early, UMass Lowell in Omaha plays at 3:30. Again, you can get out there. If you can get out there early on Friday, go right ahead. And then Harvard and ASU at 7. And then Saturday, same thing. The Harvard will take on either UMass Lowell or Omaha at 3:30. And then ASU will play UMass Lowell or Omaha at 7. So Friday, Saturday, same time, both days. But again, we'll get more into that and see, again, reach out and see if, again, get some hockey players on the show before that. But I will work on that today and see what can happen. So nonetheless, everyone, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for joining me today here on Pitchfork Lunch. Again, subscribe to the, you can, again, follow me on Instagram if you're checking it out, jumping around. But michael.carrotnudo.5 on IG, and show's always live there. Also on here on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, at Diablo00, and the YouTube channel, guys. Go to YouTube and subscribe to my channels at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005, at MVC005, and subscribe. Check out the shows, watch them, share them, tell people. Again, you've met quite a few Sun Devils, you're going to meet a lot more. So, and we'll have some alumni on too as well, working on that in the spring as we go forward. So a lot that is going on. So yeah. So yeah. MV at MVC005 on YouTube. Subscribe. Look, everybody have a great rest of your Wednesday. I will see you tomorrow. I'm going to actually head on out to some availability with Hoops today. So we'll have some Hoop Sound tomorrow and some Hoops action tomorrow as well. So everybody have a great rest of your day, and I shall see you tomorrow. And enjoy the sporting landscape. But again, hit me up at Diablo00. And let's see what we can talk about. So, as always, Sun Devil Nation, you know it. Have a great day. And, yes, forks up.
Cherry's three. His shot. Bruce score, they score. They tie the game up 2-2. Some drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. This is Thea Hansen for three. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse. Wow. 5 seconds to go. Find Hawk. Hawk spins. It rolls off. And Arizona State wins it. Edwards pulls off. And that is a block.